nostalgic music sounds like shit. Or at least most of it. Okay, before you guys crucify me, I don't mean it negatively. There's something about low quality audio that makes it nostalgic. Many genres take advantage of this nostalgia. Examples would be weirdcore, fruitiger arrow, sigilcore, and of course, lo-fi. So, there's three types of shittiness. There's retro shittiness. It's used a lot in synthwave and lo-fi. There's bit crush shittiness. It's used a lot in lo-fi and sigilcore. And then there's MP3 compression shittiness. That needs no introduction if you've been on Newgrounds in 2005. I'll be showing you 6 techniques to turn your track from this to this. Number 1. This technique involves using a plugin that satisfies 2 of the 3 nostalgic types of shittiness. It's a plugin called Lo-Fi Oddity, and it's not only functional, but it has a really nice aesthetic. I just love how it looks. It will make your music sound like it's coming from the 4th dimension, or maybe it's just coming from the other room. So let's pull up Lo-Fi Oddity, and we're gonna put it on the master. With Lo-Fi Oddity, I'm gonna turn up the corruption. And we can turn up the... which is a reverb. We'll just crank it up to taste. Oh man, that's way too much. That sounds great. Very dreamy. Bonus tip, if you want something to be less punchy, less abrasive, less hard, you want something to be softer, just put on Lo-Fi Oddity, turn up the compression, and it's gonna squash the punch and make the track more soft. Less hard, I guess. Pause. It already sounds way more fruitiger arrow, way more nostalgic, just way more aesthetic. Number 2, even though we already used reverb on Lo-Fi Oddity, it isn't enough. Imagine a plugin where you can add on a track to simulate the feeling of being in a giant concert hall. Okay, you guys aren't stupid, that's reverb. But did you know there's a way to control the amount of people in the room using reverb? On the master, we're gonna add chroma verb. As long as the reverb has a damping EQ, this tip can apply. But what is a damping EQ compared to a normal EQ? The damping EQ does not affect the volume of the reverb, but affects the length of the frequencies. So if I turned the reverb up high in the damping EQ, that just means the high frequencies have a longer decay, while the lower frequencies don't. Anyways, here's the secret sauce. You need to make the reverb simulate an empty room. You just turn up the high frequencies on the damping EQ. But why does that work? It's because human bodies make reverb more warm because we're absorbing the high frequencies. So the fact that there's more high frequencies means there's less human bodies to absorb it. Basically, more high-end and reverb equals more loneliness. Number 3. This technique is used in a lot of R&B tracks. It's also used in outros of underground rap songs. And it's super simple. It's called pitching it down. There's a reason why slowed and reverb versions of tracks are super popular with depressed 14-year-olds. Based on that, we just need to slow down our track and then it will make it more aesthetic. So yeah, let's just slow it down. You see, pitching the whole track down just adds a more liminal feeling to it. Number 4. What do these tracks have in common? If you guessed pitch bend, you would be correct. Pitch bend is a super simple way to add retro shittiness to simulate analog imperfections. We're gonna put on inner pitch, and then we're gonna play with the pitch stuff. I'm gonna leave you guys with the bonus tip. Add an EQ on the master, and then boost up the low mids. There's something about it. It's like a blanket covering your head, and it's a warm hug. You can hear it in a lot of tracks like Nevermind Everything's Okay. You Exist.
Watch out, he is coming.
Tracks like that, they have a lot of low mids, which just makes it more dreamy. Number 5. Okay, this plugin can be used to achieve MP3 compression shadiness. It is called MAME, and it certainly has the potential to MAME your track. But we're only touching the MP3 compression section. We're gonna keep it subtle. We're gonna use the lame encoder, and we're gonna crank the MAME knob on the left to add MP3 compression. What does it even do? Well, using my hobbyist amateur ears, it appears the MP3 compression added by MAME removes the high end, making your tracks more distant. Speaking of removing high end, I'll give you guys a bonus tip. We're gonna add a low pass filter to make this track more distant. Number 6. If you want that social reject underground music sound, you're gonna need a slap-on bit crusher. We're gonna place this before MAME so it's more subtle. We're gonna crank the downsampling to 4 times. Now you should have a track that sounds like shit, but in a nostalgic way. If you enjoyed the free plugins I hooked you up with in this video, check out this video. There's a plugin I show you in there that's only free for the next 2 weeks. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys.